But it's almost vital that you don't get attached to an object that appears in your mind. Because what you're seeing is uncontaminated bliss. And what happens is the ego mind tries to stick that to an object. And that object will come up in your mind, your ego mind, from the past or an imagined future. Maybe a person, maybe a thing. And if you're not careful, you start attributing that beauty to that object, and your mind goes on trip, starts to follow it, and starts to think, well, actually that's not in my life. And you can feel disheartened and miserable. So you just went on a trip. You've left the object, which is enlightenment, bliss, and you followed a mental attachment from the past, something imagined that's not concrete, that you can't have. So the two are not the same, because the bliss always comes from the source. If you enjoyed something in the past, it wasn't that thing that gave you that pleasure. Pleasure on the surface, sure, but the inner feeling of love or fulfillment, freedom, came from inside your own heart, where this jewel is. And it's not just in there, I mean, it's everywhere. It holds all of creation, but it's not creation. It's not separate from creation. And the more you try to analyze it, name it, methodologically, with some kind of method, try to understand it and make a system, then you're screwed. You're screwed. Because you're attached to labels. You're attached to the past, object, something or someone. And then you lose it. So you've just got to let go of all of that. It's not like you disappear. You're still here. But without trying, without thinking, you just settle and just let it arise. This ultimate consciousness is self-illuminating. So even if I close my eyes, I look to see what I can find. Sometimes I see a red swirl, maybe dark lines, Sometimes, when you close your eyes, whatever you see, depending on the light and everything, it's nothing. But even that becomes illuminated with bliss, it just becomes everything, whatever you focus on. But don't grab the object. So it's beyond. And as soon as you try to explain it, you just get tangled up, because the truth is beyond. There are no words beyond. No words come from it. I have to come back into the ego persona to start talking about it, and then I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not in it. The two are one, yes, but they still exist separately, but as one. They are two different entities. And probably that's not a great explanation, but it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to point at is something beyond everything. That carries everything. Every good thing. It becomes self-effulgent. I don't know if that's the word. Self-effulgent. It just arises, and then you try to put it in an object, and then you get lost. So you keep having to come back. and just be there. The world doesn't disappear, it still appears on the surface. You take a breath. You know, for years you might have been practicing meditation when they say, okay, take a deep breath and let it all go. Okay, I've been doing that for years, it doesn't work. But what it is, it's mimicking something much deeper. And that is when you look beyond and you see and you suddenly stop labeling, you give in. And a deep breath just comes from within you and it affects your whole body, not just your breath, but all your muscles, your whole body, and it's like, more like the second one, just like that. It's like, oh my God. That's what it is. And then there are no words from it.